Good morning, everybody. Ah, I'm Belinda, and you are joining Just Be Yoga Live. We are a donation based yoga community outreach that has been serving our community for 10 years. Um, the beginning of our week, more or less, Tuesday being the first day I'm back in front of the camera, doing the teaching thing and doing the live thing. So, welcome. How is everybody? How are your hearts? How are your bodies? How are your minds? We are joining here today for our home yoga practice live, and I've been reflecting this morning on what to teach, what is my practice today, and what do I need. And I've always tried to be as honest about where I am in my teaching as possible. I really feel as though this pandemic virtual yoga is really forcing me to step out there even more in that vulnerability aspect. I will be checking in on any comments, so do let me know. I'll keep my eye on whether folks have any either response or reaction to anything or have any requests. So do go ahead and comment away. Would love to interact a little bit more with you guys. Wow. So looping back into what do I need? Prior to this pandemic, I really wasn't interacting very much on social media. As somebody who was in the media business, I'd really stepped away from social media and that immersion in digital life because it really felt like it overstimulated me. It ungrounded me to a certain degree. So it's kind of interesting to have to step back into it. And I noticed this morning that I had posted so many things on my personal wall, on the Just Be Yoga wall. It was just like this tossing paint on the wall. And as I reflected on it, I realized, that's probably an indication of a need that I'm trying to soothe myself by reaching out and either wanting to get feedback, share in some way that I matter. So as I check in on my body mind connection today, I am noticing feeling a little scattered, maybe a little needy, and tired. There's a different kind of exhaustion that comes out of this electronic and digital interaction. I feel like it's a different amplitude on my insides. So I bring that up because that's where I began when I sit in my practice. That's the check-in, that honesty of where I am. And so I am feeling needy. So there's some emotional need, some emotional vacancy, or just a craving to feel soothed and held and loved, the fatigue, and the uprootedness. So I'm going to invite us to find a way sitting. So if you want to sit on your pillow, and actually I think I want to do that today. My hips are feeling a little bit strained from I don't even know what. And that's good for me to just kind of let go of needing to analyze and assess and maybe need to sound like I know what I'm talking about. So if I can let that go and just kind of say, yeah, I heard my hips. I answered them. To me, the development of the home yoga practice is the development of the self practice. And when you arrive there, I need to ask myself, what is it that I'm practicing? And that's my connection. So I know that yoga means to create a connection, to unify. What am I unifying with? I'm connecting my body, my breath, and my mind. And I just start with that template and say, do they know one another? All right, I started to practice that. My hips spoke and my mind listened. And because of that check-in, that I said about my neediness, my feeling ungrounded, and feeling fatigued, I'm going to let that be the space to meditate. And so in the home space, and as you guys can see, I'm at the studio, and it's my second home space. But my home space, I would have a nice container bowl that I use for my burning of my incense. And the burning of incense to help bring my mind and my spirit into a sacred space toward a more spiritual harmony, turning my mind toward spirituality, toward beauty and harmony, cleansing the body prior to arriving for my practice. I don't use anything with any heavy perfumes, and I haven't ingested anything heavy. I've had some coffee. I'm having tea now. I have eliminated already today, multiple times in different ways. And I've already sat with my morning prayers. So now I arrive for my practice in a space of reflection and acceptance of the space in me that's feeling needy, and the space in me that's feeling uprooted, and the space that's tired. And as I breathe and I sit, I start to observe my mind, encouraging a meditative present space. Meditation is being present with, in a non-reactive way. And to be honest, my mind is trying to fix some of those things. It wants to go, oh, poor baby, on my needy space. And I come back and I use the breath, so I'm just breathing. Of course, I'm talking too right now, so I'm going to start to decrease a bit of that. Sit feeling aware of that emotional neediness, allowing myself to feel it. So as we sit and meditate, do your own check-in with yourself. It requires some honesty. We talked about honesty in the first limb of yoga, last week's satya. Some truthfulness. And accepting that alone is work. Something worthy of our practice. And allow my focus on that neediness to also come into how I breathe now. And as I'm breathing, seeing if I can use my breath to serve the needy parts of me by letting it be full and free, unhindered. Breathing for the parts in me that are needy of breath. I start to notice how my breath started to let me feel a little more grounded and centered. I didn't have a goal, I'm just checking in now. What's beautiful about a check-in is that it does allow for an entry point into the practice, but that I remember that I am practicing presence, and that means that where I was in the beginning, maybe 5 minutes ago, is not the same. Hi, Amy. Is not the same as where I am right now. And where I am right now is a little more grounded with that breath. So let's find a little bit more time in this meditative breath space. And I'm going to let my mind now start to turn to that fatigued space. Remember, I had that as an element of my own personal check-in. So I'm checking in as I breathe now on physically, breath-wise, mentally, spiritually, what's tired? So it's a question, it's a ping I'm sending within. I am mentally tired. Mentally tired of some of the thinking space of trying to problem solve and come up with ideas of ways to sustain whatever I'm doing as far as working currently. That's a part of my fatigue. Physically tired. My physical body, I've been pushing it a little farther than its 52 years would like right now. And I use my breath again to touch the spaces that are tired. And invite that revitalizing aspect of breath. Reminding myself that this is enough. This is a yoga pose, Sukhasana, easy pose, this sitting upright space. So I am practicing a yoga posture, I'm practicing a yoga breath, this mindful, aware abdominal breath. And I'm starting to practice dharana and dhyana, focus or concentration, keeping my attention on my check-in, and meditation, being present with what is revealed. And I'm being present and practicing truthfulness, my authenticity. Hopefully we're all starting to embrace, my home practice is my authentic practice. It doesn't mean just in my house. My authentic, my physical body house, my spirit house, not just my earth house. So dharana and dhyana, dharana being focus, and I'll let that be the main thing and let go of dhyana for now. Talked a little bit about meditation, but dharana, focus, concentration, the sixth limb of the yoga tree. And if we accept movement and being in the poses as the third limb of the yoga tree, I think today those are the two that I want to work together as we start to move a bit. Concentration. I'm going to meditate for a moment and be present with concentration and inhabit that in my physical body. Wherever I let my physical body be concentrated and held in a space of intentional, deliberate action. Wherever I held and sustained concentration, right? That also brings an element of sustenance and sustainability. What if I sustained in how I've treated my body? Sustained in a healthiness of what I've ingested? Sustained in a healthiness of how my organs are operating, so my nutrition, my rest, The electronic stimuli, the outdoor stimuli, balance. And then concentration, as I think that most of us bring into mind, of our mind. Concentration in my mind. And I'm just going to sit with the reality of where my mind has been and acknowledge, maybe that's been a little lacking or wanting in concentration. Now, I certainly can hold and sustain for moments at a time. I've even had periods where it might feel a little excessive, right? And I did feel over the last 2 weeks, I had some excessive, sustained, some would say stimulated mind or inspired mind. Whew, but wow, I think I'm feeling the crash of that. So I'm going to ponder right now on where I want my concentration to be in light with where my check-in was. So I had some needy emotional space. I was feeling ungrounded and I was feeling fatigued. So my concentration, I think, for me today needs to be on balance and kindness, self-kindness and self-soothing for myself. And being still. So I think that this practice may not have a lot of fast moving, allowing for the heaviness of a little bit more stillness and saturation. So I hope that as we begin to get a little bit out of the meditative space and into the asana, that you've kind of absorbed a bit of what I've shared here about how we arrive at our mat, how we do a bit of a check-in, how we sit and meditate and be present with that check-in, letting the body wisdom and the spirit wisdom kind of let us know, what do I need? Notice I haven't said a should space at all. I haven't said what our practice should be. But we're pinging and starting to trust what we need and arriving in an authentic space. So I hope that you've all had a moment to do your own personal check-in. I'm going to be moving with postures that I feel are going to help towards some balance in my neediness and some balance in what I need for some stillness, and restore some of that fatigue that's in me. By all means, if you know that you need more of an injection of energy, please stay with your practice. Maybe after we're done with this and do a little bit more. Maybe you carry it a little later in the day with a walk outside or a run. There are different ways to infuse and give yourselves what you need. Your yoga doesn't just reside on your mat. Yoga is a way of being and living, and how we practice that being and living in all that we do. All right. I'm going to move my pillow out of the way. And I'm going to come, and I think I'm actually going to lie down on my belly. And I'm going to turn my head and let my belly breathe and become aware of the physical body. I've changed position. My relationship to gravity is different. And this is certainly a posture of surrender. But it's also a really good way for me to do a gut check-in, a literal gut check-in, having my belly on the floor, feeling my organs, feeling the weight of my body, surrendering into those organs, feeling the weight of my bone. And I breathe with the truth of understanding that myself, my body, said it was tired. My mind and my spirit are also tired. And I breathe in honor of that fatigue and allow this restful space, allowing for the simplicity and the santosha, the contentment, that it's okay to just be here. Now, as I'm breathing here and letting that heaviness descend, I'm noticing, a little achiness here in my low back. I'm going to bring my hands back here and just allow for some loving touch. I'm using my thumbs, just a little bit of pressure point work, checking in, feeling the breath. And I'm feeling, what is the range of my breath? Can I feel my breath down here in my low back? Noticing when I take a really super deep breath, I get a little emotional reaction and I release that out. So that full deep breath actually starts to butt up against maybe a little bit of a tear, a cry. Letting myself remember, oh yeah, there was that neediness inside of me that was saying, hey, like a little small me that just wants a hug. I'm going to turn my head to the other side. Ooh, and I'm feeling that fatigue in my neck and my shoulders. I'm going to let my arms go because I've been in really super duper do mode. So I'm just going to feel the non-doing in my arms right here and allow that to help me restore. I'm going to bring my palms down alongside my waist and slowly press my way up to hands and knees. I'm going to walk these hands back and do a few cat and cows. But I'm going to move very slowly here, honoring the fatigue in my body, noticing muscles slowly wake up, slowly respond, and allow my muscles to just be grateful that we don't have to be in a rush, and wear that non-rushing. Sometimes that's the hazard of being in a practice, in a class environment, or even in this video environment. And we go, oh, it's going to last 60 minutes, and then that's it. It's going to be done. Or 20 minutes, or 30 minutes. Can we start to get into the habit of letting it be what it is? And it'll be done when it's done. I've had some yummy 2-hour sessions. I've had some delicious 15-minute sessions. And I'm going to twist and breathe. And I'm already noticing a mindset inside of me and an energy inside of me that really wants to torque, really put some energy into the torque of this. And I'm going to say, oh, there you go, mind, let that go. Letting that ego, that self turn off and feel that inner wisdom of enough. So now I've really backed it off. And let that breath soothe me, remembering that I had a neediness. I'm going to bring that arm down and root and start to twist again. Breathing in, breathing out. Enough. Started to even soften the muscles in my standing arm. Asking myself, can I do less? I'm going to thread the needle here and bring the back of this left arm onto the floor and reach that right arm. And with every exhale, let my body sink heavy. I'm feeling the weight of my body, the weight of my thoughts, sinking into the earth. Noticing muscles and fibers in my tissues behind this arm that's on the floor. And for me, parts of that upper arm, the deltoid muscle, for some of you who know what that is, are really responding. Not in a sharp manner, they're just slowly telling me about a tension that's there. If you can notice this arm now, I'm doing a slight rotation. And I'm rotating from the upper part of the arm. You see it in the forearm, but I'm doing it up in that upper part, bringing that coil. I feel the neediness in the back of my neck asking for attention, asking for me to just let it go and just to hear it. How valid is that we've got parts of us inside of us that are just wanting to be heard, wanting to be acknowledged, that something is hard or something is scary or something is just downright tiring. And feeling that I can not be having to grip or respond. And feel that weight just start to lighten up around me. I'm going to bring that arm in, easing out from off of it. I'm going to do the other side, knowing that my gaze is going to be turned away from you here. Ooh, and this side is a lot more sharp and reactive. Coming back to my breath. Letting my concentration stay on ease and enough. And sometimes a mantra space helps me. A mantra is something that we repeat. I'm going to bring that arm in and bring this shoulder out from underneath. So a repeated phrasing. I'm going to reach that leg back and plant the toes down and stretch. So in that repeated phrasing, there's all kinds of mantras, but so hum basically means I am. I like to think in terms of the Spanish verb ser, S-E-R, to be, to just be, to exist, to just I am, ser. And that really helps me come into a space of enough. I'm going to spin that foot flat and thrust the hips and hold. And notice when I'm trying to do too much. Feeling my hips. Maybe lazily bringing this right hand to the hip. Still trying to release everything to gravity. So hum. I am. And the repetition just kind of lets a seed get planted and watered within us. I'm going to switch and bring this arm down, this knee down, so hum. And I'm going to lengthen the other leg back. And feel all of that neediness in this leg. The parts of me that were feeling uprooted and the fatigue. Remember that you're reflecting and concentrating dharana. on your check-in and how you're wearing that in your body and your breath and your mind. And how you invite some equilibrium into that space. And honoring and accepting that isn't fighting or even reacting. Soham. Soham. You can spin that foot flat when you're ready if you want for this modified half plank, side plank, sorry. You can repeat your mantra silently, but there's also huge benefit to just feeling the vibration. Soham. I am. It just is. All of my feelings don't require a response. Soham. It just is. Santosha, contentment, acceptance. Soham. On this side, I can feel this arm kind of quaking, trying to figure things out. And initially, I tried to grip it, right? Because I'm very aware I'm in front of a camera, so I'm trying to make things stick and make it perfect. And I wouldn't do that in my home practice. I would just be like, oh, you know what? I need to sag into that, let that weight come down. Oh, that's right. I had felt ungrounded. How do I bring my weight down? How do I honor the quaking inside of me as that neediness, asking for attention, right? And if I was my 5-year-old me coming to a grown-up for that neediness, that grown-up part wouldn't like grab that kid and shake the kid, right? I would be like, oh, I grab my arms around softly. So I want to invite that softness. So and that arm is starting to settle in and say, oh, okay. Oh, you're not asking more of me than I can provide right now. And I'm going to bring that hand down and bring this knee down and find child's pose. So I'm going to sink the hips back, lengthen my upper body, and let my upper body rest. It's really good to do mantras here because that vibration will bounce back from our proximity to the ground. Soham. Notice what's going on physically as I breathe in and out. I feel my arms are ready to keep wanting to do something. So I'm breathing and letting the exhale let my arms sink heavier. As a reminder, hey arms, you don't have to be constantly doing. I can just feel and let it be. Honoring that a pause allows for that reflection. And reflection is a part of our practice, that concentration, dharana. I'm going to sit in Virasana. Now, in Virasana, the feet can be together if you prefer. This may not be comfortable if you have knee issues, all right? So, or you might want a pillow down under here, but the weight on the knees may be a contraindication. So feel free to sit on your butt if you would prefer. Virasana would allow for these legs to come out wide like such. And since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and grab my blocks since they're right there. But notice how I've started to let my hips sink down here. Now my butt, it's about an inch off the ground. And my knees are saying, are you kidding me? So I'm going to lift up and bring this block down and let my butt sit here. That's already enough for my knees to have a little bit of relaxing. Now that you know what I've done with those legs, I'm going to turn sideways. And I'm going to show this as an option, that you can have the pillow here, and it's going to be a lot higher, a lot squishier. Ooh, and I've got my heels out a little wider, inner thighs together, sitting up tall. So I'm letting my hips sink for that nice, restful, seated space. Relaxing my abdomen, allow the belly to breathe. My eyes are closing, my jaw is soft, and I'm checking out, what have I allowed to be enough? Enough. Remember that soul hum, enough. Feeling my jaw, or am I trying to do something with my jaw? Or can I just let it be? My eyelids, my cheeks and my jaw, my cheeks and my temples. Muscles at the base of my skull. And even just saying that, just let my head go in a nice, wonderful way, reminding me of just how much I am trying to hold and contain. My body was so grateful for me to just, let that go. All right, I'm going to switch now to doing half of a virasana. Now I'm going to keep this pillow here, all right, because I'm going to go into a reclining hero, but I'm going to do it half. So I'm going to lengthen my left leg. Still got my butt on this pillow. This leg is bent behind. You could always have both legs straight and just lie back on the pillow. My butt's a little too high up on this pillow, so I'm going to have it here. I'm going to use my hands to help guide me back. And you know what? Right now I'm just going to stay right here on my arm, so I'm not even lying all the way down, because this thigh already said enough. And I'm accepting what that is. I'm checking back in on what are the needy parts of me. The parts of me that are tired of trying, tired of doing, tired of proving. Breath, rock a little side to side. So hum. The ego mind in me keeps trying to test and want to lay back down. Yeah, but my body is like, hey, remember the needy part? You said you were going to listen to us. So I'm going to listen. And come on back up. And I'm going to keep my butt on this pillow, keeping this other leg straight. And start to come forward. Soham. I also really love to do mantras in English because that's the language that I was born into. I am. I am. Letting that declaration of self and enough just get embedded into me. Allowing for that gradual releasing through the front of that leg in this half Hanumanasana, that half split. So I'm going to switch sides now. I'm going to bring that knee in. Oh, straightening that leg. I think I'm going to massage that out. Coming into feeling in a palpable way this physical self. And then maybe I'll go forward on this leg first. Oh, and breathe. Maybe point and flex. Feeling the breath. Observing my mind and my motivations. Where's my concentration right now? Can I stay on wanting to be present for the space in me that spoke in my check-in? Everything else on the to-do list of today can wait. Can I ask my concentration, my focus, to stay right here and feel what's talking in my back and my legs? And for me, that's pinging back in with that neediness, pinging back in with that rootedness and that fatigue. And I'm going to see about lowering myself down. Ooh, and this side said, yeah, you better slow your roll. I'm like, all right, I remember. Needy, got it. Feeling that truth, that I'm wearing that truth right now. And it's humbling. And there's something really strong and empowering about honoring the truth that I'm embodying right now, that my body is telling me about right now. So, rooting in this truth, not any should space. Noticing how often my little ego dances around and says, oh my God, my students are going to be like, that was a practice? Why aren't we go? And then my mind goes, yeah, but I was showing my home practice. And a lot of people don't see what Belinda does at home in her body before they see me at crazy hour. Maybe that's crazy hour at a night class or any expectation of a power space. This is that humility and that presence, that acceptance. And how do I show that? How do I teach that? How do I show practicing that? So, feeling the fight in the back of that leg. I'm going to bring myself back up. I'm going to find a way of sitting. Again, I'm going to stay on the pillow from where we started. I'm trying to remember to change the cross of my legs. I'm going to give a little bit more energy into holding my spine up because my body is a little bit more awake. I'm going to turn my neck to the right. I'm going to bring my right hand to my left temple. Just encourage the turning with a gentle press through the arm, dropping that left shoulder. Breath in, breath out. And accept what's revealed about what's moving, what's not moving, what's fighting. Allow that dharana, that concentration, to stay here with what's needy in my neck, what wants to ground and root, and what's so tired. And release. I'm going to bring my chin down. Bring both hands behind my head, pressing down ever so lightly. Breathing in, breathing out. So I really got to feel that vibration deep in my belly there, releasing the arms, really heavy and rooted feeling through that vibration, lifting my gaze and getting ready for the other side. So I'm going to turn. I think I just want to practice holding this now, feeling a lift through the back of my neck, embracing that concept of enough. It just is. First Yoga Sutra, Hatha Yoga Nushasanam. I like to think of that as well as the Tao and the first verse in the Tao and how they're kind of parallel to one another. That the Tao just is. Hatha Yoga Nushasanam, and yoga begins. And thus yoga is revealed. It just is. The parallels between the beginnings of both of those practices. Heck, you could even go all the way to Genesis. And in the beginning, there was a beginning. How about that? We'll bring the left hand up to the right temple and gently press, maybe encouraging more of a spiral. Notice when I'm going far, how am I embodying acceptance? How this slowing down is giving me the nurturing for my neediness, the restoration for my fatigue, and grounding in what is. What's more grounding than acceptance? And I'll release and bring my gaze back to center. I'm going to straighten my legs, but I'm going to keep these hips nice and lifted. Knees are soft. And let my upper body come forward. I'm even just going to let my ankles relax. And let my upper body hang. Massaging my feet a little bit. Nurturing. What's more nurturing than a massage? Than loving touch? Feeling the muscles and the flesh respond to being given the touch. Allowing myself to release holding myself up. So I'm going to gradually bring myself back up. Feeling my back respond. Feeling my visual field respond as it brightens and comes back up to this upright space. Feeling a little brighter, a little lighter. I'm going to bring my left arm under my right arm over and really creep my fingertips back toward the midline. Tucking and lifting the chin. Allowing for a sensual nature of this. And allowing for this hug. Gentle twist. Gentle twist. Kind of like a cradling, rocking of myself. Using my breath to touch areas inside of my chest cavity, inside of my heart cavity for love. So hum and release. I'm just going to alternate and bring the hands behind me and lift the wrists, tucking and lifting the chin, feeling what is the truth in my neck space, my collarbone space, checking in that I'm not overstraining, which I really was. Noticing resistance in me to even allow myself to receive the soft nurturing that I'm craving. Fascinating. All right, I'm going to find the other wrap and just feel my fingertips creeping toward the back of me, giving it a gentle caress, allowing that embrace of that hug, letting a little bit of some emotional space bubble up to receive a hug. Acknowledging that space of that need. And then twist and twist and twist and twist. Like a cradling of oneself. Restoration and acknowledgement of the need, and it's okay because I'm human. And release. I'm going to let those arms rest. Breathe in and reach up. Exhale, hands to center. Inhale. Exhale, filling up my cup with the abundance of air and the abundance of love that's around. Breath in. Breath out. I'm going to have a seated space of meditation with a new check-in. A check-in that reminds me now of maybe I need to do a few more check-ins more regularly. Observing what got revealed as I acknowledged the spaces and started to try to give them what they needed. Connecting in with the truth of what my body was asking for. The truth and balance for my mind and my spirit. practice of enough, a practice of truth, satya, and a practice of dharana, concentration. Where is my attention? Give my body the gift of my attention. Give my breath the gift of my attention. And give my spirit the gift of my attention. Hands to the heart center, 3 ohms. Anjali Mudra, bringing my attention now to holding my heart in my hands with loving kindness and support. With my body, my speech, and my mind, I take refuge in the lessons, in the spirit, and in my community. Namaste. You are enough. Be enough. Share loving kindness. See you all soon. Thank you for joining.